Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. And as you can see, I'm joined today by one of my good buddies, Mr. Sebastian. Say hello, Sebastian. Yeah, why not? I was going to just wait till he was done and then, continue this. But I was like, what the hell? He loves to get in on the act and loves to be just a little bit famous, don't you? No vanity in this family, absolutely not. So, yeah, this is the next in the series that I started recently, talking about music that turns 30 this year. And I don't know, it's all music that came out when I started high school. And it was such a great time in hard rock, heavy metal, and stuff like that, wasn't it? Yes. And so yeah, this is another one that I'm going to talk about. We're talking about David Lee Roth's release that was released. I missed it by a day. I apologize. I'm still fighting the flu, or something, something horrible. Skyscraper came out January 26th, and all the cats are getting in on the act. My goodness. Yeah, let's talk about some of this music. One of the standout things for me personally when I look at this release is, the musicianship in this release. Now, this is, I don't know, maybe it wasn't as successful as the first release, and I really don't know. That's just a guess. Same band that came out during Eat 'em and Smile. But this, are you taking off? Okay. Thanks for hanging out. Greg Bissonette, Billy Sheehan, Steve Vai, and of course David. Really a tremendous band. When I really took some time to really listen to some of this music, I think back then I listened to a couple of the songs and chucked the rest. But I figure if I'm going to talk about this, I better take a few days and really give this a good few listens. And yeah, there are some songs that I'll pass over just because they didn't catch me like some of the others. But they all have really unique musicianship in a lot of these. Some are more jazzy, some are more keyboard influenced. Like it starts out with Knuckle Bones, and that's a really good rockin' jam for all these guys. Just keeping an eye on the cats. Sorry. Good jam of a song. And then the second one, all over the radio back then, Just Like Paradise. And one thing, when I was doing just a little bit of research on this, I found out that this song, Just Like Paradise, was almost going to be the theme for 90210. And I gave it a couple listens, and I was like, oh, yeah, it completely could have been the theme song for 90210. I watched that back then. It came out. I just looked it up now because I was like, well, when did it come out? It came out when I was like halfway done with high school, 1990, and lasted 10 years or whatever. And yeah, that probably didn't want to pay for the rights to use it through however many episodes or whatever. But yeah, that totally would have fit that. It's funny. Never do that. The things you learn, hey? You do a little bit of research. It's interesting. Bottom line. Yeah, that's... The more I listen to this song, the more I like it. I don't know if I'm going to call it my favorite one from this release. But you know what? There are some that probably sound better live than others on tape or record or CD or whatever, and then hearing it with the band in front of you, it would be an absolute blast to listen to live. I don't know if they played this one live. I'd have to go look up and see what they played during this set back then in '88. But yeah, this is one I would have loved to hear live. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Skyscraper, very trippy. One of the more different songs on this release. When I listen to it, I think of some of the trippy, almost you could say psychedelic sounding, like Billy Idol stuff. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. Good song though. And the next song, damn good. This is one of my, I'd say it's probably my favorite song from David Lee Roth's solo career. I would also call it one of my favorite songs of all time, just because it, for lack of better words, it triggers so many emotions and memories as you're listening to this, and I think that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, that's how it hits me, because this came out back when I was in high school, actually just starting high school, and I always think of all the faces and things that I experienced back then, and it almost gets me emotional just thinking about it. But and you think about friends from your past, friends you made, friends you lost throughout the years, and that's what I think about when I listen to this, and it makes me happy, but it also makes me very sad. But just because it garners so many different emotions when I'm listening to this, and I think that's what makes it one of my all-time favorite songs. Definitely some of my favorite work from Steve Vai. And that's one thing about Steve Vai, and I never listened much to his solo stuff throughout the years. Some of it was more popular than others, but I always associated him, like my favorite stuff of his that I listened to would have either been stuff with David Lee Roth or like the stuff that he did with Whitesnake. Somewhere down the road, I'll probably, give some of his solo stuff throughout the last couple decades a listen. I remember buying a cassette of his from I had to be way before this. Mid 80s, yeah, definitely before this stuff. And it was so, for lack of better words, weird. It just, I didn't like it. I gave it a listen through, and I don't think I ever listened to it ever again, unfortunately. But, different music hits you different ways throughout your lifetime. This release, this top to bottom, is a perfect example. Some of this stuff I just didn't really bother listening to it much back in the day when it came out. And now I'm listening to it, and I'm appreciating, a lot more of this. Some of this stuff, and was almost, you could say, brand new to me again. We continue with what is this? The second half of the release. Hot Dog and a Shake, just a good jam song. Stand Up sounds like something that could have perfectly fit into a movie like License to Drive back then. Just the keyboards and how everything is put together musically. Crazy start with the bass line in there and then the keyboard. Goofy song. I'd say, as far as just this release by itself, one of my favorite songs besides Damn Good, excuse me, would be Hina. I this is one I probably listened to like 5 or 6 times in a row. Just like, wow, like I said, you don't touch a certain release for X amount of years, and then you listen to it again, and it's like, whoa, it's like I've never heard some of this before, and Hina is such a good song. I don't know what it is about it. The singing, the playing, the melodies in it is just wow. It just this is one song that blows me away. Perfect Timing is an interesting song because I don't know why, this is just the way my head works. When I listen to this song, I want to change, like, keep the melody, but I want to change the rhythm of the song, because to me, this sounds like if you change the rhythm, it would be like the perfect Kiss song. I don't know, and I know that sounds really weird, but that's, I don't know. Just give that song a listen and let me know what you think. It's just, I don't know. It's a catchy song. I like it. And then Two Fools a Minute. It's just a goofy end song. Some songs are just meant to be at like the end of a release, and you can tell they just had a lot of fun making this one. This would be another one that'd be really fun to do live, I'll bet. His last line in this song, "Oh, I gotta be out of here. I gotta be home before the end of the song," or something. It sounds like something David Lee Roth would say. So yeah, I'm glad I picked this one, because like in the list that I was going through for this year, there was a lot of stuff I skipped, and just because I never listened to it, or I never heard of it before. But this is one I'm really glad I wasn't just like, I was never a big fan of this one, so I'm going to skip this one. I'm really glad I gave this one a second look and really gave it a good hard listen, because there is some really good, like I said, musicianship on here. Damn Good is one of my favorite songs, and yeah, it's good to give stuff a second listen, especially after so many years, because you hear stuff different, you experience different things, and certain music always takes you back in time to back when you first heard this, and the stuff surrounding what happened to you back then. And the song Damn Good is a perfect example of that. So yeah, let me know what you think of this one. Is any of this, your go-to David Lee Roth when you think of David Lee Roth, or is this one you passed by, and because you watched this, you want to give it another spin? Let me know. Talk to me in the comments below. So happy 30th, David Lee Roth, and everyone involved in making this: Steve Vai, Greg Bissonette, and Billy Sheehan. It's a heck of a release. I read recently that this band was supposed to get together and do a reunion. I guess they got together, but the actual playing part of the reunion never happened. No. This one and Eat 'Em and Smile, I would have absolutely loved to hear some of that live one more time. Absolutely. It's like everyone's still playing. David Lee Roth, well, he may not quite have the singing chops he did 30 years ago, but he's still very entertaining, to say the least. Never boring to watch. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. It's all around just a fun, jam. We call it jam rock, I guess. I don't know. However you would classify this particular release. So yeah, that's it for this one. I'm not sure what's next. I found this one a few days ago, so I was like, oh man, I need to quick listen to this, give it a few good long spins, and we'll see what's coming up next. There's another one coming up in early February. I forget what it is. But yeah, I'll set up a schedule for this soon. So yeah, that's it for this one. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of this one. Thanks for watching.